Hey, what's up, my witches? First of all, this video is half an apology. I know I promised you guys a really cool video on candle dressing, carving, and for ritual magic, and I did not deliver on that. I thought I was going to be able to give you guys a video on Sunday. However, I will tell you, because the Virgo in me could not let this rest, and it is now currently going to be a two-part video, because I just can't keep things perfectly simple. Because if I know stuff, I'm gonna tell you. So that is going to be, I think, a two-part at this point. Candles could actually go into like a 6-part probably. But I did originally name the sequence Candle Crafting 101. So yeah, I go off the rails, and I may not do particularly beginner stuff. And that's probably why, like, a lot of you guys, you know, I really appreciate you guys giving me the support on the amber polishing. But I also get that, like, if you don't have access to those tools and doing things like that, that's not really going to interest you. And so that's just one aspect of what I do. And as an artist and a designer by career, I tend to try to explore every single thing that actually interests me. So that was one, and it just happened to be my first video. So then I promised you guys the candle video, which, like I said, has turned into, I've been doing pre-production on that for literally a week. So what I was going to do is shift a little bit, and I'm going to talk about books of shadows. I got a new blank book this week. Probably the first one I've purchased in at least 20 years. And I'm very happy with it. It's handmade recycled paper. And there was a discussion on another group, not another group, but just a group, about someone warning me about using recycled paper. And I'm thinking to myself, like, the initial was, well, there's validity, I guess, there, but at the same time, I'm thinking this book made in China probably didn't contain a whole lot of negative energy from it being recycled from someone else's book of shadows in China, or a grimoire, or some religious text, or a bad check being written. I don't see that really affecting my work in this. And like I said, I kind of backed down and said, well, that's a valid point, but nah, you're full of shit. But anyway, I got this really nice book. I got it on Amazon. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's really beautiful. It has the aesthetics I like, and I'm not even gonna get into that, because I think that's a whole other episode about people's thoughts about aesthetics within the witchcraft community. Why that's even a discussion is ridiculous, but we'll get into that later. So anyway, I wanted to give you some tips, and basically what I'm doing is I'm cherry picking my favorite stuff in several books and journals that I've kept over the last 30 years. Yeah, 30 years. It's actually more than that, but um, and I'm putting them into what I'm considering a cohesive laying out the map of what I like and what I want to preserve. Preserve. That's the point. That's why you write stuff down, right? You want to keep it. So I'm going to give you some tips on how I came up with organizing what I want to do. The first thing I will say is I'm putting in the front more like rituals, and I don't do a lot of rituals. I'm not a huge ritual guy. I'm not really into the whole, which is weird that I'm going to say this, but the pageantry of ritual grates me sometimes, which is probably a really weird thing to hear from a guy who has a book like this. It's not lost on me. It's just how I feel. However, with that said, here are some tips on how I like to organize, and I'm really more into the whole graphic art part of it. One other thing I will say right up front is like glyphs and stuff like that. The really graphic stuff that is more a compilation of what I've been acquiring for the last, can I say it one more time, 30 years? I put that at the back of the book, and I'm working my way backwards from the last page towards the middle. I don't know why I'm doing that. I just felt like I should. Your mileage may vary. So let's do some close-ups, and I'll show you kind of like how I arrange things. And again, I'm a Virgo. I like things symmetrical. I like things even. You don't have to do that. You don't have to. I'm not saying anything I say is right. It's not. What is good for you is good for you. All right, let's do that. Okay, let's talk about how you might want to lay out your Book of Shadows. Mine, like I said at the beginning, I have some rituals at the beginning. I have an opening page, and then my self-blessing ritual, which is I've loved forever. It's actually Herman Slater's, and I kind of didn't allow myself to enjoy Herman Slater's writings until later in life. So for your older guys, you might want to check that out. A Book of Pagan Rituals is the book specifically, but and then I decided once I got past that first blessing ritual that I would throw in some basic ruins that I liked. Moon glyphs that I liked. I wanted to put in the Theban alphabet so that I had it for quick reference, because I use this a lot, and I use this to kind of label things. Not that you have to, but that's what I do. So, as you can see, these pages are pretty symmetrical, and it's not like all over the place. Now, if you want to do stuff all over the place, you absolutely do it, because it's your book. So, I'm, like I said, a Virgo. So if you're a Virgo, an Aquarius, or a Pisces, you're probably going to like this more. I'm not a big zodiac guy, but I think those are the main three that are obsessive compulsive when it comes to like arts and stuff like that, and I am textbook. So here I have my new page that I set up. It's blank, obviously, but maybe you can see the pencil marks that I put into this. And basically what I did was I broke up this page into 4 parts apart and 3 parts below. Now this says in Thebian bind runes. So the idea was that I could get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can get 12 on one page, as long as I stay within my little boundaries. And how you do the boundaries, it's actually very simple. And someone who has been a graphic designer for way more years than I want to admit, you basically you want to split the page. So I gave myself a distance of 5 inches. So I split the page into 2.5. So then I put my ruler down. I measured out between here and here 5 inches, and then I measured out here 5 inches. I put a little tick mark on the bottom. I put a little tick mark at the 5-inch marks at the top. So it'll be 0, 2.5, then 5. And then I just broke that up. Is I measured out between the space between here and here, which is about 6 inches. So I just said I'll give it 2 inches each way, and I made a little tick mark, 2 inches here, 2 inches here. Same thing for each, and then you just connect those dots that you made. So you would go for the middle and just do a light pencil, just so you can see it. You know, it doesn't have to be hard. I mean, if you want it to be hard, that's fine too. And the same thing, you're connecting the dots. Here's 1 dot here, 2 inches over. You would do the same here, and then 2 inches over, and then connect those dots. And you just keep doing that all the way down, and you'll see. It might be hard on the camera, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 boxes. And what you're going to do is now decide what's going to go in each one. So I'm going to do a more simpler one just for the sake of this video. Okay, personal wealth. Who doesn't like that? So, and I'm going to do this freehand, but you can totally, if you want to decide that I want it to be a 1/4 inch from the top of the grid to a 1/4 inch below, you can do that with a ruler. So there you go. First line done. What was I doing? Oh, personal wealth. Now, I'm just staying within the boundaries of that, and I wish I had actually put this a little higher, so sometimes what I'll do is I'll extend it so that it fills a space more. Again, the Virgo in me. And then I will note what it means, either below or beside it. So you could use what's next to this for your description, or you can do it below. Well, these glyphs have really huge long names, but I'll do this one underneath just to give you an idea. And then I use that bottom line to know what it goes by. And again, this is a haphazard, you know, kind of doing it for the video. But the idea is to, while you're doing this, put the intent into what you're writing down. If it's a ritual, that is the empowerment. Now, you guys might ask what pen I'm using. This is a Japanese India ink. What do they call that? A brush pen. And this is used a lot in comic book inking. I like it because I can get thick and I can get thin. I also have this bigger one, and maybe I'll do the next one. And I will give you a tip if you use these. The ink is on the inside, so you have to drip it down to make sure the brush has the ink. And I have really depleted this one a lot, so this probably won't look all that good. I'll do one more just to give you an idea. What's a good one? Balance. And I'll use the brush for this one. And it's definitely more rustic looking, which is cool if that's what you want. And then generally for the descriptions, I'll go in with the, I lost my pen, the thinner pen. So what is this one? Balance. Enjoy. Okay, so that's I think that's a pretty good idea of what I was saying about if you wanted to keep things symmetrical. Now, then a lot of people would be like, well, now I got pencil all over this. Well, you just get yourself a $2 gum eraser, and that will take that all off. Make sure your ink is dry, and that will take that all off. And I have also experimented with adding in, if you guys didn't notice on the previous pages, adding in some red watercolor into kind of like, you know, the headlines, what I want to highlight, basically. In the end of this particular blessing, you can see where I did each headline. But do make sure that you know that ink bleeds, and so you got it. There's a fine line, but how much color you can use, especially with these beautiful handmade papers. So okay. That's the practical part. Okay, so there's some practical tips and tricks. You know, that's coming from a graphic designer. You can do everything crooked. You can do it sideways. It doesn't matter how you do it. You just have to do it. You have to put it in the book. If you care about what you are doing and you want it so that you can look at it years later, because I will tell you, I have had this book since 1986, and I actually pulled some thoughts out of this. Now, this book was half used during my second year of college of color theory. So it has a lot of that in it too, which is cool. But I do have several other, I'll give you a little. I don't know what year I made this. It was probably. I'm gonna go with like 1999, and like I had whole full rituals in here. Which I don't know if I have the patience for now, but a lot of recipes, incense recipes. I know the color is horrible here. Yeah. So when I see this, and I'm making this, I can appreciate the transformation. I can appreciate the person I've become since that person. If that makes any sense to you. It does to me. I hope it does to you. Anyway, I promise you more videos, and I'm going to deliver. Don't give up faith on me. And again, thanks to Toby and Hayden, and of course my love Catherine, for the encouragement and making me feel good about doing stuff like this. I love it, and we'll do more. I promise. Bye, my witches.